Okay, I guess it's time to start. Should we start? I think it's time to start. Welcome, welcome. How we doing? What is today? Wednesday? Wednesday afternoon? I mean, kind of cool for a long weekend. Anybody got plans for the weekend? Chris?
Just going home, taking care of stuff back home.
Oh, good. Okay. That sounds like fun. Anybody else? Garrett?
Yeah.
Long weekend. No Monday. You guys don't have to come back to campus till next week. That's like a long time. You got nothing? Go thrifting. Do you guys go thrifting? Anybody thrifter in here? That's cool. Where's home? Oh, fun. Oh, that's great. Well, let's get you on your way, shall we? Should we start class and get on with it? I mean, for you two. Great. I think we're just going to dive into it. We've got some recording and editing of macros. Some of this might be review for some. Hopefully we'll get to some pretty cool stuff today. Next week, Monday, no class. Wednesday, we're gonna do some more stuff, more VBA next week. Built-in objects and collections. I feel like we're still kind of in the fundamentals. You know, we're still kind of baby stepping it, baby towing, baby steps into some VBA here. I feel like once we start to hit loops, which is a week from Monday, it starts to get pretty cool, pretty fast. We'll do some really fun stuff. Assignments in this class are pretty light at this point, right? Mostly just some readings for chapters. There's that web query assignment that I think most of the class has done already that's due this Friday. And other than that, that's basically the only real turn-in assignment we've done so far in the class, and that'll change here pretty soon too. But that's kind of where we're at. So we're just kind of plugging along. Let's say an opening prayer and dive in. Who wants to say the prayer for us? Aiden. Thanks.
Father, we're grateful for this opportunity to be in this class today. We're grateful for all that Brother Trevor does for us, and we'd like to ask him to bless us with his spirit and also bless us with understanding. And we love you so very much and like to say these things in the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen. Thanks very much. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. I'm going to come open and open Excel. And I'm going to tell you a quick story while I get started here. Sure.
Real quick, one of my teachers said that because Monday's off, we do Monday classes on Tuesday and Tuesday classes, or is that wrong?
Yeah, it gets a little bit confusing. There's two Mondays off this semester.
Yeah.
This coming Monday, there's no Monday classes, and Tuesday classes.
But then the next one.
But the next one, the February Monday off, which I think is President's Day holiday, that's the one where have no Monday classes. Tuesday is Monday classes, and Wednesday is Monday. So that week in February, we'll be back to back. We'll have class on Tuesday. We'll have class on Wednesday that week. Yeah. Yeah, that one caught me off guard this semester. But yeah, this Monday, no classes. Tuesday's Tuesday classes. Yep. Good question. Okay. Here's my Excel. I'll go to Developer tab, open up Visual Basic. And let me tell you a story. So there once was a student who got an internship at Amazon and went to Amazon and he worked for the digital camera division. And anybody a high-end photographer in here? Anybody have like a business on the side? Anybody have like a really nice camera in here? Really nice digital? What kind of camera is it? Sony Alpha 7. That sounds cool. So my understanding about the digital camera industry is that the price band for different prices for the same product is really quite small, right? You don't have a lot of leeway in terms of selling these really nice cameras at a very different price differential. So this student was going to Amazon to work for their digital camera division where they were selling digital cameras online. And if you can imagine, right, if you're selling a digital camera from a store, bless you, you get some service with it. You get this ability to maybe even some instruction how to use it for some of those novices. But if you're selling it online, you can't really compete with that. And if the prices are very, the reason why the prices are not there's not much movement on the prices is because they don't manufacture it, right? They're selling it from the manufacturer, and those deals from the manufacturer are very standard, right? There's no budging on price. So if you can imagine Amazon selling these digital cameras online, how can they be more competitive? What would they do if you were in the Amazon's position? Yeah, you can't really do discounts because you can't budge on price. So price is fixed. There's no service. How would you be competitive? One option is that's an interesting one. Yeah, bundling. So you could bundle. So some of the way that the online retailers of these cameras work is that they bundle this with a bag or a case or some kind of other thing, right? And they try to make money that way. So this student showed up at Amazon digital camera division, and he finds out that his internship is going to be going to all their other competitors' websites and looking up what they're offering today in terms of bundles. That was his internship. He was supposed to go every day to go find out what were the competitors offering in terms of their bundles that Amazon needed to know about. And he starts on a Wednesday, and by Friday, so he's just going to websites, right? He's like, click, click. Oh, look, there's a bundle here. Click, next day. Click, click, same thing. Nothing. Click, click, copy and paste. So by Friday, he is about had it. He's like, I don't think I can do this. But he decides to start writing a macro. And he's like, maybe I can do this on a macro. He works all day Friday, works all Saturday, works through the weekend. And Monday morning comes around and he runs this macro and it does exactly what his whole internship was going to be. And so he basically did his whole internship over the weekend. He gets back to work on Monday morning, shows his boss. And what do you think his boss? What's the reaction to that? I mean, if you've hired an intern and the intern basically, because they can run that thing every day for the rest of the summer, for the rest of years to come. And it turns out that opportunity led. So Monday morning, what do you do as an intern? Turns out the group was like, oh, you can do macros? Well, why don't you come automate this other process for us? So he basically turned his internship into a completely different experience because of his ability to create this macro. Did he get a job offer? Absolutely. Um, this was a very good experience for them and for him. And I believe he actually ended up taking that. But this is something today. So what we're going to do today is the kind of thing that would do this. We're going to go back and use that legacy web query some more. We're going to create some macros and we're going to go pull information from the web for multiple companies, put that information into a web spreadsheet. It's as if you were doing an internship, right? I mean, they hire interns to do this, and we're going to figure out how to do it. Hopefully, we'll finish it before class is over. That's what we're going to do today. So part of today, the benefit here is part of we get to see kind of a full cycle of using macros and using VBA to accomplish something. But hopefully, you get a little bit of the taste of the value that we can produce using macros and using VBA, which we haven't really covered. I mean, we've covered some basics, some ideas. We've started to cover some programming ideas about what's a variable, what's an object, that an object has a methods and it has properties, and we're into that level of understanding. But hopefully you get to see by the end of today that kind of the end picture, right? This is some of the value that you can create with just a little bit of macro and a little bit of VBA. So here we go. Let's do this. Here's what I want to do. I want to come over here to my Excel. I want to rename my sheet. I'm going to name this web query. And this is where we're going to create the web query where the information is going to be imported into Excel. And if we remember, the way we run a web query is we come up to our search bar and we type in legacy from web legacy, and that will open up this old web query. And there's a script error right when you open this up. So this is so old. This is so legacy that it's giving you an error. It turns out that back in the 90s, anybody heard of the company Netscape? Yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah, I don't think it's on a Mac. Did you really? Do you have somebody you could sit by? Do you want to sit by Carter? Don't sit by Yared. Yared's got a HP. Yeah, there is a
I tried downloading the thing you had.
right.
And that still doesn't work.
There's a legacy web query add-in to Mac users, but that goes a little bit beyond. Trying to get that work is a little bit beyond today.
Option, but none of them is for the website. It's all for like document.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. Yeah, it's a hard one. Okay, great. So there's got the script errors. So this web query is so legacy that this is before JavaScript. So JavaScript's probably in terms of the amount of code that's written in languages, JavaScript's probably the most popular coding language in the world right now. And so JavaScript is this idea that, yeah, we'll send you a website and then the JavaScript will process some of that website on your computer, right, or on your phone. That's kind of the idea of JavaScript is it'll actually process that script locally, not from the server. And so it's really cool back in the 90s where they introduced this idea that you can actually send code to your computer and it will run it on the computer. Most of the formatting that we see on websites now is all CSS JavaScript. And this is a browser that's so old that it can't process any of these scripts. So it says, I don't know what you want me to do with the script. I'm just gonna click on no. And it pops up a couple of times. I'm just ignore all of that. So we have this web query. What I want to do is I want to come back over to our URL that is right here. So if you go to class 3, recording and editing macros in our class, there is a link to the web query wizard right here. It's the random.org website link. I'm just going to copy and paste this. So I'll copy this into the address for this web query. And I'll click on go. I'm using this site for a couple of reasons. Partly because there's a random string generator. So every time that we refresh this in the browser, I mean in the Excel, it'll actually change these random numbers. And because this site does not have a lot of scripts. So it's a way just to get this web query started. I'm going to click on import. There's a couple of buttons here to click if you wanted to do tables or anything like that. But I'm just going to go ahead and click on import. And that's going to allow me to import this into Excel. It should ask me, where do I want to put it? I'm going to put it in A2. So all I've done is I've gone up to legacy. I found the legacy web query, opened up that query, put in the URL, and now I've clicked on import. And now I'm going to import that data right to this page. And we can see if we scroll down, here are those random numbers right there. So there's the random numbers. If I click on this, and if I go to data, and if I go to refresh all, it will actually rerun this query and actually pull new numbers from that website. So this is kind of like a live connection to that website. And so this is going to set us up for a web query. And next thing I need to do is I need to set up another data sheet. And this is where we'll actually put the data. So the web query is going to get the data. We'll put the data into that web query sheet. This data will call, or this sheet will call data. And this is the data that we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the header. So we'll do ticker symbols. Let's do a profit margin. And let's also do return on assets. And let's go out to the internet and we're going to search some ticker symbols. Let's do Microsoft, Oracle, Google. Let's do Apple. Let's do Delta Airlines. That'll be kind of fun. And let's do Southwest. I like to do my previous long time ago employer now, Lockheed Martin. But let's do a couple more. Let's do GM. Let's do Ford. And let's do ExxonMobil. How about that? Maybe that's too many, but we'll start with that. And the idea here is we're going to create a macro that goes out and collects the profit margin and return on assets for each one of these companies. And we'll create a program that it will do all of this by itself. We'll click on one button, we'll create a button, and it will run through all of these tickers to get this information from the internet, current information right now. That's the goal. Okay. So let's create a macro. You guys are macro specialists, right? You've done this before. There's a couple things we need to think through when we do a macro. One is, where are we going to start? So I will pick any one of these, and let's say we start a macro for Apple that says, okay, take this Apple ticker and go to the internet and bring back the profit margin and the return on assets, and then go to the next ticker. So what I want to do is I just want to make sure I start my cursor on the right place and end it on the right place. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to click on, I'll click on Apple right now, and I will start to record a macro. So I'll come to the developer tab. I'll click on record macro right here. I'll give it a name. Let's call it stock data. Shortcut key. Should I add a shortcut key? How about Control S? That's save. Not anymore, it's not. Okay, fine. Let's do Control Shift S. Does that work? If I hold down the Shift and S, then it can be Control Shift S is my shortcut key. I'll store in this workbook, and this will be get data. Get data from web, something like that. Some kind of description. We'll click OK. Once I click OK, Excel is recording everything I do, right? Here we go. So I'm going to click OK. And then actually what I want to do too is I want to be able to show you what this looks like. So let me pull up my module over here. And this is recording. So this is recording my macro right now. Anything I do in my Excel over here, it's going to record this in this macro right now. I just want you to see that. So you don't have to do it this way, but I just want to show them side by side. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this cell. And I'm going to copy it. Actually, it's already selected. I'm just going to hit Control C. Question? Oh, this one? Go to Developer tab, click on Visual Basic, and that'll show you this Visual Basic for application. This is your IDE. This is the coding window. And if you open up your modules here, Module 1, this should already be created automatically when we started the macro, if that's helpful. Oh, over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, these ones are kind of optional. If you go up to View, you have the Project Explorer, which shows you my file. Here's my book 1 file. I haven't saved it yet. Everything in this file. And then there's also the Properties window. And so you can open that up as well right there too, if you wanted to. We don't usually use properties for another few weeks, but it's there. Yeah. Okay, great. Is that you good, Mama Viso? Okay, great. Okay, so I haven't even done anything yet, right? All it's done is it's created this sub over here, this macro procedure. So my first thing is I'm going to go ahead and reselect my Excel. So I'm back into my Excel. I'm going to do copy. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it into the other sheet. So I did copy. Notice it said selection.copy. I'm going to click on web query. I am going to, oh, I was going to be at the top. I forgot about that. I'm just going to go ahead and scroll to the top. Whoa, what happened there? And I'll click on A1 and I'll paste it. And then there's 2 more pieces. We can get rid of this active window here in just a minute. The next step is I'm going to come down here to this web query, anything in here. I'm going to right click on one of these cells and I'm going to come down here to where it says edit query. So we already created this query before. Now all I'm doing in this macro that I'm recording currently is editing the query. And the reason why I do that is because I don't want to do another query, because remember how I had to hit no on all those dialog boxes that popped up? No, 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 no. I'm avoiding that by just editing the query this time. So there already exists a query. I'm just going to edit it. And that's going to allow me to bypass all of those no, 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 no's that I have to hit. So I'll click on edit query. And then I'm going to come over here. Now, remember how I said that Excel is recording everything I do at this point? When there's a dialog box that pops up, what does the macro do? It's like, oh, I think you need some personal time. I will avert my eyes. And so it's not recording what happens in this specific dialog box interaction, if that makes sense. All I need to do here is I just need to click on the import, and that's going to record some code, put some code into my macro, which is this web query code. So I don't need to do anything else. I'll click on import, and then this is what it imported over here. So let's stop recording at this point, and let's look at this code, okay? So here's the macro that we just created, and I have all these scrolls. I don't need the scroll. I'm going to take out all those scroll lines. I'm just going to delete them. And the first thing I did was I copied my selection. And where was I? I was on this sheet. I copied this selection right here. And then it says it went to the sheet, the web query sheet. It went to range A1. I selected it and it pasted it. So far pretty good, right? So far those first few lines are we copied it, moved a sheet, and pasted it. Please.
So you need a range for that copy.
Yeah, good question. Right here. That is actually the object. It's a good question. So selection is referring to a range in this case. That's exactly right. So wherever that cursor was, which I think was at Apple, yeah. Then it knows that the copy, that's the method, right? Our object is selection, Copy is a method of that range. So selection is, and the selection could be multiple ranges. It could be one cell, multiple cells, whatever is selected, that's the object. Yeah, good question. Okay, so then we came down to the sheet and we modified the sheet. And what we did here, this code right here, this is probably something you haven't seen before. This is the query, web query code. This is a with construction. So everything inside of this with and the end with, all of these lines start with a dot, except for this line, and this is a continuation here. Because if the line is too long, you can do a space and an underscore, and it will continue that line. I'm just going to take this out for ease of use purposes. I'm just going to make that one line there, just to make it easier. And so everything inside of this with construction is referring to this object, selection.query table. So everything with the dot connection, everything with a dot command type, dot web selection, dot web formatting, all of these are referring back to that object. So it just shortens the amount of code that you have to write. It turns out that there's one more change we need to make here. We're going to take this line out. For some reason, this line breaks it. And this line, they put in the code automatically, like in 2013 or something like that. They put this into the code when they did the web query, and it just breaks it. It's just bad. Shouldn't be there. This is from past experience. So I'm just going to take that line out, and everything else here works well. So what's happening here is we're going to create a connection. The connection is a URL connection, and this is where we have this connection going at this point. But now what I want to do is I want to change where we're going to go. Instead of going to this random, literally random website, I'm going to go back to our links here, back to class 3, and I want to grab this link right here. This is a finance.yahoo.com link. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put that into my code instead of this URL here. So I'm going to put that in here. I'm just going to paste it in. Now we have the URL going to this site. If we go to the site on the website, what does it look like? Just in a regular browser, it's going to look like this. So here's Yahoo Finance. This is Apple. It's got a whole bunch of information here on Apple. One of the things we're interested in is profit margin and return on assets. And that's down here. Here's profit margin and return on assets. And we're going to be able to get this. So if we run this macro, it should pull that website in. Now we have to make sure where are we starting the macro from, right? So I've clicked on Apple. I'll click Control S. Let's see, what did I say? Control Shift S. And it's going to run this macro. It's going to go out to that website. First, it's going to copy it, right? It's going to copy and paste it into the web query sheet. It's going to go out to that website, and it's going to grab all that website and put it into this web query sheet. And there it is. So if I scroll down here, this is that entire page, which can be long because there's advertisements and all kinds of text. In fact, if I do a Control F and I search for profit margin, there it is. My profit margin is on line 694. Anybody else have a different line on that? 696, okay. Yeah, it could depend on your on everything else that's going on that page. But we have it. So we have our profit margin here, we have our return on assets. Okay, but question please.
Yeah, so on mine, I'm getting an error. I'm getting a runtime error. It says cannot locate the internet server or proxy server.
Oh, that's weird. Are you connected to the internet?
It says that.
If you paste that into a browser, will it take you to the browser?
So I got
Yeah, that sounds like a connection, internet connection issue.
So it's different, how is this different from just like a stock option? Because it's not dictated.
Yeah, good question. The stock option, um,
I know you can do that with mixed stock, you can like be what it currently is, and it updates too.
yes, I'm not familiar enough with that feature to know if that will do multiple at the same time or just one. You put in and then it will go out and search it. That's a good question. Does it give you all this information or does it give you the stock price?
It gives you different options.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. It would be interesting to know if it does pull in all this information. I mean, one difference could be that that you can get much more specific with what you want to return. Like, um, if you have a particular website and that's the data on it and it's not available to those stock pickers, but I'm not familiar enough with that to know exactly. But that's a good point. Did you really? Okay, you have to show Grace. Grace, did you figure out that plugin? The legacy plugin for Macs? Nice. So you're on Parallels right now? Is anybody else on a Mac? Oh, it's not? Let's see if we figured it out. Elise has figured it out. So if anybody wants to know about the legacy web query for Macs, Elise is on it. She's got it.
Yeah, I'm figuring it out.
Okay.
Running it through Legend.
Okay. All right. That's great.
So yeah, I read it through just Google. I got it to run, but it's not running still.
Oh, weird. Okay. I'm not sure about that one. I'll have to come back and check it out. That's I'm not used to that one. Haven't seen that one before. Okay, so what we've done though is we've hard coded the ticker symbol in here. So what we need to do now is we need to make sure that we go to the right web page, right? If I go to a different ticker symbol, let's try Google, and I run Control-Shift-S, what is it going to pull back? Is it going to pull Google's ticker information? No, it's not, because it's still tied to Apple's ticker right there. So we've got to change the code so that it will go to the right ticker. Here's how we do this. I'm going to delete the ticker and I'm going to concatenate it. And I'm going to say and. So just like we concatenate in Excel, we can very similar way in VBA. I've got this base URL here. I'm saying, yes, that's the URL that I want, but I want to add to that. What do I want to add to it? I could say this, right? I could add this directly, or I can make a reference. I want to reference cell A1. And what that's going to be, if we go back to the web query, very top A1, that's going to be the one that we pasted in there at the very beginning, right? That's part of our macro. So this is going to pull from the macro that we pasted in there right here. We pasted a couple lines above. It's going to pull the value into that URL when it goes out to finance.yahoo.com and pulls the quote. Isn't that cool? So now let's test it. So if I go back to my data sheet and let's click on another ticker, I do Control-Shift-S. It's going to copy that ticker to the web query sheet, and then it's going to go execute that connection to finance.yahoo.com. And it's going to pull in that whole page. And let's see if it did it. There's LMT. Let me see if I can scroll down. And it should say some Lockheed. I can just search for Lockheed. Lockheed Martin, there it is. So it's pulled in the Lockheed Martin page. So that's pretty cool. So at this point, what we've done is we have created a macro to go out and pull a web page based on the ticker symbol that we have here. By the way, if to be a little bit more precise here, after I type in range A1 as the object, I want to type in dot value. If I don't type that in, Excel assumes VBA assumes that's what you want. You really want the value. That's like the default setting for just an object is its value. As a programmer, as a coder here, I want to make sure that I put that in. I want to be more explicit in my code. In the long run, that's just the safer option. So I want to put in dot value as what I don't want to pull in the formula. I don't want to pull in the background color, right? Or the style. I want the value of that cell. So I'll do dot value. Garrett, please. All these guys? Yeah, those come in automatically when I edited the web query and then I clicked on import. This is what'll show up in your VBA code. Yeah, so I didn't have to write any of that, which is kind of nice. It just automatically showed up. Okay, so at this point, we're pretty good. We're pretty close, right? What we're saying is we can take any one of these tickers and we can run our shortcut key and it will go out and pull this. There's basically two bigger steps we need to do here. One is we need to pull in the profit margin and return on assets from the web query sheet into the data sheet, right? That's one big step. The other big step is we need to create a loop. So we need to say, okay, let's go at the top of the list and let's go all the way through the list. That would be kind of the second big part. Please.
I have a question on how you got to change the tickers. Did you only change the range?
That's it. That's it. Because this was right here, right? I had Apple right here. Is this what was there? And this was gone. And so that's all I did, right? Is I took out that ticker right there, closed the parentheses, concatenated that with range A1 dot value. That's it. And it's going to pull that value from that cell right there, range A1.
Did you copy and paste that? The LMT? Because I read that.
Yeah, I copied and pasted in the macro.
Right, but like, every time I run it, it only gives me out.
Yeah, it depends on what? Depends on where your cursor is on your data sheet, right?
Even if I have my cursor on LMT, it's gonna give me out.
Does it say selection right there before copy, or does it have a specific range? Yeah. So if I would have started this macro and selected something and recorded it, then it would have recorded that particular cell. So instead of starting with selecting a cell, I started with a copy. That's the first thing I did when I started that macro, was just copy. So it's going to take whatever is selected and copy that. Is that helpful, Hunter? Okay, great. Here comes Spencer. We're moving the party over here.
This is being recorded, right?
Yes, should I double check my mic? Mic's on. Sharing is on. Yep, it looks like it is, yeah. Okay, great. Let's just do a double check. Tell your neighbor if your macro works, that you can actually go to a website and pull in the correct ticker information. Check with your neighbor. Did it work? Carter? A little bit? Okay, all right, that's a good start. Do you want to come sit back here with these guys or up here just to have somebody else to bounce ideas off of? Okay.
You should create based off the.
We're gonna see if it works this time.
Okay.
It keeps on pulling up. What's that?
I see a GM.
So it was only referencing what he had initially copied.
Oh, okay. Was it pasting in the A1?
Guess not. I just added the single line of code.
GM, that looks good, right?
Go. Okay, so there's the stones.
There should be some G. There it is, General Motors. How's it coming, Brad? Oh, you're on the Mac. Spencer and Elise are trying to figure it out on a Mac. If you wanna No, Elise is on Mac. Spencer, you on a Mac up there? Yeah, Spencer, they're both on Mac. So if you want to go,
I mean, I should be after that part.
okay, yeah, that works too.
Maybe I'll just ask you.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to record the macro.
Oh, yeah.
Because I messed up.
Sure.
So after you right clicked and you said edit web query.
Yep.
What did you?
Yeah, this is it. Good. Click no there. Twice, I think, maybe 3 times. No. Once, that's great. Then just click import.
Okay.
And that's it. And now you can stop recording. And then go to your code.
I did not know how to right click on my computer because I normally have a mouse.
Oh, yeah. All these new things. Open up your modules there. Double click on that one. And that will show you your web code. So there it is.
And then you this one.
Yep, that's exactly right. Very good. We'll take that one out.
And then we're replacing
Yes.
one.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
The,
Yep. Grab the URL. Oh, yeah. Windows parallels.
And it won't stick.
Okay. Yeah, we could look at that. That'll be like 30 seconds. In fact, should we do it right now?
Sure. So like I went to thing and I downloaded it.
You've got the file in your downloads. Okay.
And
Perfect. You got 2 copies of it.
yeah, so I opened the file.
Yeah, you don't have to open it.
You don't have to.
No.
Oh, okay. For how to do it.
We'll open. Go to Excel add-ins. And then click on browse. And then here's what I recommend you do. I recommend you open your File Explorer window right there. Open that guy up. And then click and drag
And
that over to this one. That file over there.
if you let me.
There it is. And then select that. Okay, that. Oh, yeah, probably all that.
Are there more in place?
Oh, it's trying to open that. Yeah, there you go. Click OK there. And there it is. So now you've got Atlas and it should stick now. And you should have, there it is. You have an Atlas tab there. Yeah, let me know if that doesn't work. We can come back and look at that. How's it coming?
I think I did everything, but whenever I run, if I select this.
Yeah. So take out that first line right there because
Oh,
you're
the first line,
saying
this line?
no above that.
About that.
Range A5 selects. You're saying that's the cell I want to select, and then you're saying copy that cell.
Okay.
So if you erase that, take that out. Now that you're on that one, now run it again, and it's going to say, okay, you want me to do Microsoft because that's the selection it recognizes. Does that make sense? Yeah, try now.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
That work? Yeah, same thing here. You want to take out that range A5 select.
Brown and really kind of.
Wow, what happened to all your
I got lost with doing the macro, did the macro wrong. So I deleted the macro and I redid everything. I just started hand typing it. But like,
let's see. Sheet select. Oh, you have a scroll down. Take out the scroll down too. I think that's the problem too.
this one?
Yeah, take that one out, erase that. And then I think you're missing one line, which is range A1 select. So after the web query select, so right there.
The A1 select has to be on this side. And then I should remove this.
Correct. And then change it to range A1. Does that make sense? Because you're going to select that cell and that's where you're going to paste it into. Yep.
So A1.
Yep.
Let me
Try that. Eli? Okay, great. Monoviso?
When I was doing it, it just restarted. My computer restarted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that I have to watch your videos.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you, so
How's it going?
I'm trying to record it again.
Yeah.
So I have this part where I just pasted it into A1. From here, how do I put in the web query?
Yeah, yeah. So right click on A2 and then do edit query. And then it might give you a, oh, this has changed. So that's changed on the web query. That should still work. Click on import. Does it give you the option? Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Well, that didn't happen last time. I was able to put it in.
Are you recording right now?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and click stop on recording. And let's go back to right clicking on A2. And let's change the web query. So go back to edit web query. This is before we're going to edit. Click on the little drop down here for that URL and go back to the random.org. Yeah. And then click on no a couple times, however many times. Okay, great. Now click import. Now scroll down. Is that the random one? That is the random one. Oh, interesting. Okay. I thought that was okay. Let's try it again. So now let's record another macro.
Should I delete this and restart?
No, we'll keep it. It's fine.
Okay.
We'll just record another macro. So go to record macro. Yeah, that guy right there. And you can just click OK. That's fine. And then right click on A2. Let's try this one more time. Right click, do edit query. And without changing this, click on import.
Hit no first.
Right, correct. Import that. That's what we need. Okay, so now stop recording. And then what you can do is delete. See how you got the A2 select and the A2 select? Delete one of those and everything in between. And that should work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So now I replace.
Yeah, take out the command type line. We don't need that dot command type. Just erase that whole line.
Okay.
And then yeah, replace the URL with that one. Right? The finance@yahoo.com and then put in your range A1 value.
I think I did it. I've got Apple stuff.
Oh, good.
And then I think my
Yeah,
code
range
worked.
A1. Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, let me know if that works. Okay, let's go to the next step. Ready? Here we go. Brennan's ready. Okay. Good. That was good. I think it was good to get some people up to okay, so there's two big steps left. One step is we'll pull in the profit margin and the return on assets number. The other big step is to go to the next ticker. Okay, so let's do this first. Let's see. You know what? I think I will take these out and then shrink my window down a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to create another macro. So I'm going to come over to developer. I'm going to go to the web before I start the macro. I'm going to make sure I'm on the right on the right sheet, right? I'm going to create a new macro from the web query sheet. So I'm going to record. I don't have to worry about the name because I'm not going to reuse this macro. I'm just getting code from the macro, and then I'm going to use this code in the other macro. So I'll just click OK. I don't want to give it a name. I don't want to give it a key. I'm just going to click OK. I just want to start recording. And there's my recording of the macro. What I'm going to do here now in Excel is I'm going to try to find, I'm literally going to click on Control F and I'm going to search for profit margin. I'm going to type in profit margin. I'm going to click on next. And there it is. That's what I need, except I don't actually need that cell, right? But look at the code it's put in here. This is the VBA code to perform a find based on profit margin. How about that? Now, if I wanted to be really, really precise, I could match the case. I could match entire cell contents, right? It's possible that there's more than one profit margin on this web page. So I could do this. I'm just going to go ahead and do it the way that I did it. just like this is fine. So what I've done is I've just clicked on Control F, typed in profit margin, clicked on find next, and it's taken me to that cell. Notice the very end of this code, it says activate. So it actually found it. Here's the interesting part, and it's actually terribly easy, not intuitive. What I need to do is I need to grab this 9.36% and I need to copy it and paste it into the other cell. I mean, the other page, right? This is the number I want. I want 9.36%. I want to copy it, paste it into my data sheet. But if I click on this cell right now, it's going to point to what? It's going to point to A695. And I don't know if every time I run this web query, if the profit margin percentage is going to be in that particular spot. So what I can do is I can come up here on my developer tab, and this button right here is use relative references right underneath the recording option. I'm going to click that button. I'm going to click on use relative references. And what that's going to do, see how it becomes outlined a little bit? It's going to give me the relative address of this 9.36% from where my cursor is currently. Does that make sense? It's going to give me a relative address in the code. So I've done the find. This cell is selected. I've clicked on use relative references. Now I'm going to click on this cell right here. And that's the code it gives me. Active cell offset 2, that's saying 2 rows below, same column, select that cell. And I'm going to copy it. Control C, selection copy. I'm going to come over here to the data tab, and profit margin is 1 column over from where I was just when I copied it over. So I'm going to click 1 column to the right, click on that, and click on paste. How about that? Notice that my relative reference is still on for when I pasted it, which is good because I can't paste it all into the same cell or else I'll overwrite the previous ticker, right? So I want the relative reference when I come back. I'm going to go back to the web query sheet. I'm going to select the return on assets cell. I'm going to copy that. I'll go back to the data, click 1 more to the right, and paste that there. Finally, I'm going to go to the next ticker. So I'm going to go right below the row that I was in. I'm going to select that ticker, and then I'm going to stop recording. How about that? Okay, there was a lot there. Can I review those steps real fast? I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording. What I did was I started in the web query sheet before I started my macro. I started a macro, started a recording, and then I did Control F to try to find my profit margin. I typed in profit margin, clicked on next. It found it for me, right? And it selected this cell. So that's where I'm at. It selected it. Then I made sure to use my relative references. I clicked that on. I came down and clicked the profit margin, copied it, pasted it in 1 cell to the right of where I was at, went back to web query, clicked on return on assets, copied that, went back to the data and copied it there. Then I went to the next ticker and stopped recording. Yeah, great question. So instead of, if you notice up here in our first query, whenever I selected A1, it would say range A1 select, right? When I did the, what's it called? Relative references, it said offset wherever I'm currently selected. So it didn't actually tell me click on range B695. It said wherever I'm currently at, offset, in this case, 1 column. In this case, it was up here, two rows, offset 2 columns. Wherever I was, just offset 2 rows down. That's what that says. So that makes it a relative reference. So wherever that cell is at that point, just go 2 down from where it is and select that. Does that make sense? This A1 here is a little bit confusing. Don't worry too much about this one. We'll come back to that. This is range A1 as a part of this part right here. So it's saying the first cell in this range. And that unfortunately, that's just the way they decided to do it. Pay no attention to the man behind the green curtain yet. I mean, we'll talk more about this, but the important part is this is a relative address for where that active cell is. And that gives us the ability to find out the profit margin wherever it is in that page, whatever row it is, instead of tying it to row 693, which is what mine's are. Okay, so now this is kind of cool. Now that we have these two macros, I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to erase this code right here. I'm going to combine these two macros, right? I created these two macros. I'm just going to combine them. I'm going to take off the n sub from the previous macro. I'm going to delete this name of the second one and some of these comments here, and I'm going to combine them into one macro. And now we have this long macro. So now what happens if we run this whole thing so far? So I'll go back to my data tab. I'll click on, let's click on Microsoft. And if I do Control-Shift-S, what should we expect happen? Brennan? It does it. Okay, I like that. Let's try it. I'll hit Control-Shift-S. It's going to take my Microsoft. It's going to copy it to the web query sheet. It's going to go pull the Microsoft web page. It's going to go pull the profit margin and the return on assets number back into the sheet. And it did it. It did it just like that. So we did it. I can try it again. Let's try Delta Airlines. I'll do Control-Shift-S. And it should go out to the website, pull the information into the web query sheet, pull the profit margin and return on assets from the web query back into the data sheet. And there it is. There is my Delta Airlines. Not bad. So we could pull more than just these two pieces of information, right? It doesn't have to be these two. I'm just kind of choosing to pull these two just for demonstration purposes. Question, comment? You're getting an error message? Okay, let's do, can I do one more last step and then we'll try to debug a little bit? Okay, you're probably closer than you think. The last step is, how do we get this to do all of these all by itself, right? So that instead of doing this one at a time, so far right now, the way it's set up, I'd have to click Control-Shift-S for each one of these tickers. There's a really interesting way, it's relatively easy to call this sub procedure, call this macro, to do it multiple times for as many tickers as we have. And that's the last step here. So I'm going to do another VBA. I'll come down here and I'm going to write this in by myself. I'm going to type in sub get all data, open and close parentheses. When I hit enter, it's going to automatically create this n sub. And I'm going to write some code in here. I'm going to say sheets data dot select. So I'm going to say select the data sheet. I'm going to say start with range A2. I'm going to select that. So I'm telling it I specifically want the data sheet. I want range A2. Let me take these out. I'm just selecting those. Now I'm going to do a loop. And we'll get into loops more later. So don't be too concerned if you don't understand every step here. But let me just outline the basics of it. I'm going to do a do loop. So I'm going to do something in this loop. I'm going to create this loop. It's called a do loop. And it's going to loop through this multiple times. And just so we have a sense for doing this, I'm going to do a debug.print. I'm going to print to my immediate window up here. I'm going to do a now, which is give me the date and time. Every time you get to this line, just print the date and time up here to this immediate window. That's what that does. That's going to show us how many times and how often this loop runs. After that, I'm going to say call stock data. And it's going to recognize that, oh, what you're really talking about here is the sub procedure that you made up here. It recognizes this name, right? So I'm saying, I want you to do this. I want you to call, which means to go ahead and execute stock data, that macro in a loop multiple times. Now, if I left it at this would be an unending loop, and it would never stop. Actually, it would stop. When would it stop? It would stop once it got to 1.02 million rows. Because it does go down to the next row, right? The way we made it, we ended up the ticker. So it would do all 1.02 million rows before it would stop. We want to stop it before it gets to that, right? So what we can do is we can do a statement here that says do until the active cell dot value is equal to I'm done. And what we could do is we could come down here and say, okay, I'm going to put in this cell, I'm done, like that. And that way it's going to loop until I get to this point. But even maybe better than that is let's do until active cell dot value is blank. How about that? What if I just say do until the active cell is blank? There's nothing left. So it'll stop once the active cell is blank. So the double quotes here is saying that's a blank cell. There's nothing in that cell. It's going to recognize this as, in my case, A12. That's my first blank cell. So do this loop until the active cell is blank. And then we want to end the sub, and that's it. Okay, so what we've done here is we've written a little bit of VBA code. I mean, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines of code to run this macro that we created multiple times for as many stock picks as we have over here in this column. Okay, so let's do one more thing just to make this interesting. I'm going to come up here to insert on the developer tab, and there's a form control and a button. This is a button, a form control button. I'm going to add this button to my sheet. I'm going to connect it to the get all data macro. Click OK. I'll come in here and rename it get data. And now when I click on this button, what's going to happen? It's going to run this macro. It's going to select these tickers, and it's going to repeat the macro that we created up above here for as many ticker symbols as we have. I won't do all these. Let me insert a row here, and let's see if we can just do these 3. Ready? So I'll click on get data, and okay, it's got there's our debug now, 3:03 p.m. and we'll see if this works. If it doesn't work, then I'll give you guys class off on Monday. Okay, I see some numbers here. That's a good sign. It's still computing. That's a good sign. So here we go. We've started this loop again. So we did the one loop at 3:03. We did the second time through at 3:03. Here's a third time through, 3:03:34. And let's see when it's done, what it looks like. Still thinking, still processing. Okay, there it is. So we have, it stopped because I have an empty cell here. It's gone through and pulled the profit margin and return on assets for each one of these from Yahoo website. Not bad, right? I mean, is that crazy? Is that just me, or is that crazy? That's pretty crazy, right? If I were to take this line out, it should do the whole thing. We could do that too. Anyways, how can I help? Should we just debug for a few minutes, talk to your neighbor? Where are you at? Where are you at? Question?
How does it run?
Yeah, good question. When you create the button links to this bottom one, and the bottom one, exactly. The bottom one calls the top one, right? So call stock data is saying run the top one and then come back and finish this one. Isn't that cool? So you can actually call macros within a macro. So yeah, so we push the button, it's running the bottom one. The bottom one says, oh wait, call stock data. You want me to go up to this top macro? It runs the top macro, comes back to the bottom one, goes to the next one. Very good. Okay, how close are we? Pretty close?
This is what? I'm getting like an error.
Oh, interesting. What's the error?
Well, it's not doing it.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and click on stop. Click on that little square right there. Yeah, that'll get us out of it. Well, one more time. There you go. Now click on it again, yeah. Cannot locate the internet server. Oh. Oh, you're not connected to the internet.
Oh.
That's weird
That was
because you,
fine.
you must have been connected earlier.
So, like, I put in the Apple thing, I like the Yahoo apples, and you know, like how to like.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Because Yahoo's website has so many of these scripts, that just takes like so much time to go through all those no's.
Oh,
So it's better to have the random.org as the web address when you do actually do this query,
wait, okay.
because then you don't
So-
have to play with all those no's.
So just click no.
Yeah, you can hit escape. I mean,
Oh, okay, there we go.
there you go.
So then I would go back here and grab this one, right?
Right. Yeah, copy and paste that one in there. And then there's only like one or two no's, much less no's.
Yeah, 'cause I actually did it about like 20 times.
Yeah, that's a lot. Oh, maybe there's more. Is there more no's somewhere? You might just you might just cancel it out. Yeah, there's got to be a hidden no somewhere. Got to be something else that's not letting you click that because it's open somewhere else. If you hit escape on the keyboard, does that?
Take a look at yours and because whatever reason it's saying that there's a problem with my reference subjects.
Is it on your Mac screen? This is your Windows desktop, right?
So
Okay, yeah, it's
here's
not
like
there.
my
Where is in client? Is that?
I don't think that's it.
Yeah, I don't recognize that name. Oh, is that your buck?
Yeah, so I was just an archery buck I killed a few years ago. So yeah. But I don't.
So it doesn't let you close it. It doesn't let you cancel it. It doesn't let you import it. Yeah, there's got to be another window somewhere that's preventing you from. What's that one right there?
This one?
No, right above the. Yeah, go back to that one. There's like, what's that little gray
Oh,
one
this
right
one
there?
right here?
No, right next to it. Yeah, that one right there. Oh, that's
Oh,
another
that's-
web browser. So you got two browsers, or is that one?
They're yeah, 'cause it like automatically opens to this one.
Gotcha. Oh, I see. Yeah. You might have to just close everything down and try to figure out where is that message because something's preventing you from.
So it'll just
That's true.
wait.
Hey, there you go.
Perfect. So then
So are you recording right now?
here, let me open.
Oh yeah, you are recording.
Where did it close? Yeah, so I stopped recording, right?
I think it might still be recording.
Oh yeah, right there.
So right click on A2 and do edit query. It's got the random, click no just once or twice, or maybe just once, and then click on import.
Import.
And that's the code you need. So now stop recording.
Perfect.
And then you can do all the changes. So take out the command type line,
All of
just
Oh,
that
yeah,
one
yeah.
line, and then change the URL. Yeah, that was, I don't know how you got out of that, but you got out of that. How are we doing over here? Nailed it? Multiple tickers? Oh, look at you.
mine always just does one and then
You got one. That's
Wait.
pretty good. Yeah, I can see the Microsoft one at the top. It's thinking. You got your variable. Yeah, range A1. That looks good. And then it stops.
Yeah.
What's your scroll down? Oh, get stuck. Okay, now wait a minute. This is go to the top here. What's the name of this one?
get data.
And then what's the name of the other one? Get all data. Okay. Until active cell dot value. Okay, go back to this one up at the top. Where do you end your? I can't read it from the side. Do you end it by going to the next line? Let me think here. Offset. Oh, this is finding it and pasting it back in. Okay, so all you do is you paste it back.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I think after that,
I had a
you need to add a line that says active sheet,
Yeah, we find it.
or excuse me, active cell dot offset open parentheses 1
Not sure why.
comma 0 close parentheses dot select.
For whatever reason, one of my offset is like -6,
Wait,
while I
you know what I'm
gave
thinking
one
about? Hold on, let me check that. I don't think that's right. Basically, what I'm saying is after it does that percentage, you want the cursor to go to the next line.
See the bottom.
Can you see that? Yeah, exactly. One comma -2. That's exactly right. That's the one. How are we doing over here? You got it? Close?
So I had to get rid of. So I finally got it to pull up all the data,
Great. And
So
you
I
got
finally
some
got that.
percentages. You copied those in.
but I think I did those wrong.
Oh, okay. Are those not the right percentages?
All I did was I threw in a macro, looked it up, and then
Okay, yeah, I gotcha. So you're doing, oh, wait. Oh, interesting.
yeah, because all I did was recorded my macro, threw my equal sign in there, found the profit margin.
Oh, yeah. Do another macro. Record a macro. Start on your web query sheet. Yeah, you can delete that one. Start on your web query sheet.
Okay.
Record macro.
Or
And okay is good. Now on your Excel, do Control F.
F.
And then search for profit margin. Now profit's going to be, well, that worked. I would have guessed that there would have been more than
threw
one
in
profit
another one,
margin.
yeah.
Yeah. And then select your relative reference up here.
This one?
Yep. Now select your 23.97
Okay.
and notice the code offset. That's what we needed. Offset 2.
Okay.
Do Control C for copy.
Control C.
Click on data. Select right to the right of Microsoft, that 29,
No, this is
23 point.
Apple, so I messed those up as well.
Yeah, let's see.
'Cause
Wherever
I'm searching Apple right now. Or should I throw it up top?
it depends where you started. Did you start on Apple? Was Apple selected when you started?
When I did this, yes. When I was on here, I don't think I was selected on anything.
Oh yeah, I guess we could see. Range A2 select. Okay, yeah, it's here on A5. Yeah, so click on B5
Okay.
and do paste right there. Oh, that's interesting. Because it wasn't set before. Okay, go back to web query. We might have to correct that later. Go back to web query and now select the 21.46, copy that. And then go back to data, paste it next to the 27. Now go back and click on DAL and then click stop recording. And now you can delete, oops, sorry.
No, you're good.
Delete your end sub, and keep the end width, yeah. And now
Delete all
make
that?
that 1, yep. Exactly. And you're gonna make that one macro, one
Okay.
VBA script. The only thing you might have to correct is
Was it this
the
part?
paste part. Wait, what is that? Offset negative 23 rows. Take out that row right above that, active cell offset.
Delete this.
Yeah. Yeah, delete that one. Well, and then instead of active sheet dot paste, put selection dot paste. Is that what this is it. We'll see you guys a week from today. 1 week from today. Long time.
If he was able to, but I needed help with
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, let's look at that.
So you said select sheet.
Selection. Try that, and then take out the sheet part. Selection dot paste. See if that works. Try that. See if that code works. And it should. It should work. It should go out, grab that information, paste in the percentages, and you should end up on the next row down.
If it works, we'll stop at the DL.
Let's see. Debug. What is you click on debug? Oh, look at that right there. Do
Should I just delete that and restart the macro?
she's let me see, I can't remember. Where are we at here? We're finding it, we're selecting it, we're copying that, we're going to the data sheet, we need to paste it. Oh. Hey, thank you. I think we need to do active cell. So instead of selection dot paste, type in active cell.
Active dot cell.
Nope, just active cell. Okay, I'm gonna follow this notation up here. Active cell dot offset, open parentheses, 0, comma 1, close parentheses, dot range A1, or sorry, open parentheses quote. Sorry, I forgot about that. So range, open parentheses, double quote, A1. You gotta put in the quotes too. It's just like this one. Thanks, Grace. Good job. Hey, see you, Spencer. And then at the end of that, do doc select. Or excuse me, is that right? Dot paste. Do dot paste. Because we're trying to paste that information into the cell. Let's see, scroll down a little bit. I just remembered we could follow this as well. Active sheet dot paste. Try that. Click on F8. No, should we just be, wait, what was that one? Oh, your functions are already enabled. Let's see, what was that selection dot? Do Control Z. Yeah. Copy, okay. Okay, and then click on play. A little green. Okay, debug this one. It's the same thing. Oh man. Basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to offset it just like this one is.
Because would it be better if
So-
I just deleted all of this, then selected the correct cell, and then did?
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what we're trying to get around. That might be easier at this point. Try that. How's it coming?
I don't know, mine's just running, so I'm waiting to see if it even finishes.
How many tickers? It looks like you're on ticker 9. How many did you have?
Same as you.
Okay, so quite a bit. That's probably just running.
So
How's it coming?
I ran this to see if it would work because I think I'm done with the first part,
Yeah, yeah.
and it like messed up this sheet. But like, cause I changed the connection.
Okay. Let's see now. Go up to the top and insert a row at the top, will you?
Just or
Yeah, on the one. Because A1 should be the name of the ticker symbol, but it looks like your web query was in A1.
or A2
A2 select. I think that's talking
or
about the
A.
data sheet.
Oh. Oh yeah. I need a name.
Yeah, let's rename those.
Computer not loving this.
Really struggling, huh? Really struggling. It's not responding.
There you have it.
Well, it's a Wednesday afternoon. I mean, what can you ask?
It's a Wednesday.
Did you save it? That kills me sometimes. In fact, I haven't saved mine either. I should have saved it. Correct. Yeah. Yeah, you should. Yeah.